you guys? How are you all? Thank you guys for being here. Damn, I love that intro. We were just talking about it. If you have not subscribed to my second channel, it's not about true crime. It's everything but true crime. I was live just a little bit ago on there. I just love it so much. Thank you guys for being here. Hey, KPM. Hey, Jenny Paul. Norma C. Hey, Lori. Nana. Uh-oh, chat jumped on me. Hey, Linda, Teacup, Rift, Adrian, good to see you. Hey, Mark, Nola, Crystal, Michelle, my Shay Bernay, Norma. I think I already mentioned you, but I start to do it twice. Y'all already know. Hey, Clicker, Michelle. Let's see. Ava, just Jen. Thank you, Lori. Good to see you, by the way. Hey, Marjorie, Cutie Pie, Pumpkin Patter, Leslie, Donna, Music City Mom, Shauna, Jessie, Leslie, Natasha, Pinche Becky. Oh my gosh, so good to see you guys. Hey, Pretty Bug, Lorraine, Brandy Wine, Cool Gamer, Monet. How are you guys? Thank you for being here. Thank you, Susan. Actually, it's funny you call it the Dexter music because that is what I told her when I ordered the intro, that Dexter for inspiration. Okay, so I'm really excited about today's live. I think that this will be interesting. So if you followed along, we've been going through the jail files of Leticia Stout because we got the case file. We went through that. We've gotten phone calls. We have 2 months we're just waiting to be dropped in our email any day now. But we've went through all the incident reports here on Tidbits of Tisha. And then on Crime Curious, she showed all the kites, which I'll probably do some tidbits for that as well. And then we've had discussions about it on Bendy's channel, the Ward Case Studies. Thank you, Good Vibes, Stacy. Thank you so much. I love that you love this channel, and I appreciate that so much. Somebody had asked in the chat if Jen had posted anything, and they called it the Ward Case Files. And maybe that's why you hadn't said anything. It's the Ward Case Studies. Here, I'm going to drop both the Jen's links right now. But I know that they're both working on some things. So we are going to go through the lawsuit. So now that we know what happened in the jail from not only the officer's perspective, but Leticia's as well, I think that it would be very interesting for us to go through the lawsuit together. Hey, Artemisia, Noodle. Oh, by the way, I wanted to show you guys real quick. So yesterday I showed you my little hoodie blanket that has the zebras on it. Let me show y'all this one. It has strawberries. It's so cute. Hold on. See, this one has like the 2 pockets instead of just one. Oh, I love it. But okay. So let me go ahead and pull it up. I'm actually going to pull up Curious Jen's website first because I want to show you guys this. If you've not accessed it, used it, it is something that really you should check out. It is so well done. And when we drop her link, it comes up. Hey, Legendary. Okay. So, hey, Katie. I love the hoodie blankets too. They're so comfy. So when you go to her website, it looks like this: Crime Curious with Jennifer Knight. Over here, you have case files. So if you click on it, you got Richard Allen, Sarah Boone, Chad Doerman, Adam Montgomery, and then Stauch at the bottom. All 5 cases that I'm just so interested in. But let's go to Stauch because that's what we're doing. And I've already downloaded the PDFs, but if you wanted to look at any of this, you could easily access it as well. Well, hold on. While it loads, let's just get some pleasure in looking at that for a second. Wait, it's not on there. What? Hold up. There we go. It is, Janice. So warm. Hey, Crime Mom. I know, Topher. Curious Jen has a very, very nice voice. Search and Rescue, good to see you. Okay, so on her website, it's at the top, Colorado versus Leticia. Then she has where we've been doing the public records if anybody wanted to help, ways to donate, and also who's donated, right? And then under that, oh, look, she has us and our channels linked, which is so sweet. Thank you. And I love that little picture of all 3 of us. Then under that, we have document downloads. So we have the probable cause affidavit. witnesses, the amended complaint plus the original complaint, letters to the judge, stuff with the defense witnesses, prosecution witnesses, jury instructions, the lawsuit that we're going to go over, the life insurance policy, sexual harassment lawsuit, the sexual harassment settlement that she had, all of her Google searches, pretext calls transcribed. We have text messages, GPS history, all the information about the jail where she's currently at, the case report that we purchased. And so there's so much stuff on there that you guys could probably spend hours going through. I went ahead and downloaded the documents for the lawsuit. So that's what we're going to go through today. Oh, thank you, Kimmy. Thank you. That is so sweet. How many of you guys have been on the website? She also has on, if you go to it on your cell phone, there's like you can download the app onto your phone. Yeah, she is crying in that. Okay, so how many times did we hear Leticia tell people they were in her notes that she was going to be suing them? There's our curious Jen. Your website is so well done. I love it. And yeah, so I just wanted to show how exactly I got the documents. And so people could do it themselves. It's so easy, especially when it comes up on the phone. Like if you use the app on the phone, I've downloaded the app. Hey, Foxy. Foxy's back. Hey, Sean. Shauna. Covered up the A. Okay. So part 1, civil action. Leticia Stout is the plaintiff, and then versus El Paso County in the official capacity, Lieutenant Stengel, Snipe, and Wellpath. See attached, okay? Prisoner complaint. Plaintiff information. Where she resides, which is in the jail. I'm drinking like a glass bottle drink, which is hard to drink out of, you guys. I need to find some better alternatives for soda. Okay. Officer of the state, defendant 2, Lieutenant Stengel, or Snipe, a deputy. Statement and claims. Claim 1, freedom of religion, kosher violations. Please see attached. Claim 2, medical neglect. Please see attached. Now, remember, she was on a kosher diet, but they took her off of it because the deputies saw her making prison snacks with a spread and all that stuff and desserts that were not kosher. So they knew that she wasn't actually eating that way. That's why she was taken off of it. Hey, Tony. Hey, Sherry. H squared. Pepper. Good to see you guys. Hey, Shelly Bean. MK. So it's her fault. I'm eating a salad. I need more thumbs. I should probably file a grievance. Exactly. Oh, you're in my notes. I'm reporting you. I'm adding you to my lawsuit. And remember, she also wanted to be the voice for all the illiterate drug addicts. So, request for relief. State the relief that you want. Claim 1, general damages, restitution damages, or reliance loss damages, monetary. Claim 2, injunctive release, monetary relief, policy change for Wellpath neglecting inmates. Plaintiff's signature. Attached defendants. We have Trinity Food Services. She's also suing them and gives their information. So claim number 1, let's read her claims. First, we have kosher violations, okay? Freaking Leticia. Oh, Brandy wine. More like a year, but nonetheless love you the same, only more. Oh, love you back. And yes, you have been here for a while. And thank you so much for supporting me. Appreciate it so much. Oh, thank you, Riddler. Okay. So from July 2021 to February 2022, my First Amendment right was violated by means of my kosher diet. Inmates sign an agreement stating they will adhere to the policy and follow their kosher diet guidelines to avoid interruption of meals and services. During this time, I expressed several concerns of the meals not being wrapped appropriately, items that were not kosher approved being placed in our diets, and the violation of sanitation by putting kosher on open trays. I asked deputies to alert their superiors that the policy and custom by El Paso County Jail was not prohibited per the religious affiliation. Below are a list of inmate kites that followed once staff refused to contact Trinity Food Services and let administration know of the violations. And we could double check these in the kites actually. But so we have August 8th. Kite to Trinity Foods explaining the contamination in kosher items on open trays. September 4th, reported improper kosher and contaminations through the El Paso County Jail grievance process and was told to contact Trinity instead of the jail. November 19th, sent kite explaining that staff was using a pen/marker to write K on non-kosher items that did not already have the standard approval. They were non-kosher items and violated the signed agreement. On 11/22, a response from the jail said to kite the kitchen again. The jail continued to ignore the customs and policy for kosher inmates and placed the blame on the contractor, Trinity Foods. However, the contractor is conducting business in El Paso County Jail, and administration SSGTs failed to monitor or adjust violations. Next, during court transport in 2021, November 2021, and February 2022, I advised the deputies they were not providing kosher meals while at court, and eating the sack lunches was a violation of our kosher signed policy. I also asserted First Amendment right on each occasion and asked the jail to adhere to their policy on religious diets. After several attempts, I noticed retaliation and was not provided my kosher, or my meal was delayed for hours when other kosher and non-kosher inmates already had theirs. On February 12th, Deputy Stengel, a named defendant, sent in a violation of kosher to religious programs, and they terminated my meal. From February 14th, 2022 until February 28th, 2022, I sent several kites and asked SSGTs could they provide the proof and reason behind the suspension, that I did not violate the agreement, that in fact the jail continued to show a direct link between the policy and constitutional injury. During this time, I received notification that Deputy Stengel observed me violating the diet by eating other foods. I explained to her that these purchased items on commissary were not excluded, and once again asked the jail to hold a meeting or some form of hearing demonstrating that I did not adhere and that these actions were not prejudice on behalf of Stengel. It's not prejudice. When he observes you eating foods that are not kosher, then he knows you're not on a kosher diet. I mean, that's what happened. We saw it all. That's why I thought this would be so interesting to read, because we literally read report by report her whole time there. We know what happened. She said, instead, I received unjust punishment as a result of this individual who was competent and who showed extreme indifference, more than negligence, toward my First Amendment right. From February 14th to August 14th, I was suspended from my diet, which led to weight loss, depression, and being limited to one meal a day because of excessive commissary prices. I suffered conflicts between myself and substantial burdens on my religious practice. This led me to modified religious beliefs and being forced to eat regular meals and or non-kosher items or not eat at all. I received my kosher back on August 14th, 2022 after 6 months. Immediately, the disregard to our customs provided more constitutional injury. On August 17th, I expressed the violations to Deputy Snipe and how the jail continued to control my direction or supervising others for our rights explained in the inmate handbook and our First Amendment right to practice religion. I explained to her that the meal for lunch and dinner were not approved items and were processed with other foods, causing contamination. I also addressed the need to reach out to her superiors to help bring the kitchen in compliance with the policy. After all, she was a party to violation and continued operations. All right, let's pause for a second. Let me check on you guys. What part of her religion? Yeah, and not only that, she's not Jewish. She talks about Jesus all the time. It just makes absolutely no sense. I know, Lisa. She's just ridiculous. She's just trying to get ahead or manipulate in another, like, even more with this lawsuit. Poor victim Leticia. Sorry, but if you didn't do what you did to Gannon, viciously take his life, you wouldn't be there. Get over it. Deputy Snipe became confrontational and abused her power while acting in official capacity. She insisted that the meal was correct, ignored my claim to a First Amendment right, and refused to serve me with a proper kosher diet. She was competent because she acknowledged the error, but explained that she was, quote, too busy, unquote, to deal with it. She accepted Trinity's reasoning and did not alert her superiors that our rights were being violated, even though the first duty oath of office is to protect individual rights. She even stated, if you don't like it, don't come to jail. This is not the first time that she retaliated with comments such as these. It's true. If you don't like it, don't go to jail. In fact, she was also a deputy who ignored the violations that I listed in 2021. Deputies are our only means to correct a meal while locked down for 21 to 22 hours a day. The following is the next few non-compliances. August 15th, non-kosher. August 16th, no protein for kosher, extremely low calorie. August 17th, non-kosher lunch and dinner. August 18th, the most striking of the kosher violations from Trinity Foods, the most striking was when they served smeat, which is processed meat with non-kosher items in a plant around pork. They will claim that no pork touched the smeat, quote-unquote smeat, but the meal was a violation and contamination of non-kosher either way. This item has always been excluded from any kosher meals. Throughout this time, I was told that a Trinity employee named Tim said, quote, we are cutting back due to inflation, and sometimes the food will be non-kosher. Eat it or buy commissary, unquote. On the next occasion, Tim told the ward deputy he was following guidelines, but still, El Paso County Jail refused to supervise the contractor. On the 18th of 2022, we told SSGT Brooks, who entered A3 female ward during our timeout. He said he did not know anything about it, but yet nothing happened, as in no remedies to these reports of First Amendment violations. Her writing is terrible in this. On August 19th, 2022, the meals were still incorrect. All defendants continue to ignore the constitutional right. Defendants understand and have culpable state. This policy is ignored because there is a disregard to our customs and the jail's handbook. This forces inmates to alter their religious belief, not eat at all, or have excessive commissary spending when we are afforded 3 meals a day. These are deliberate intentions even after 1 year of trying to resolve the issue and demonstrate prejudice to the religion. The parties involved expect me to follow my signed religious agreement but can ignore it on their end. The defendants named are not immune under the 11th Amendment because number 1, 2, and 3 are in their official capacity, and I have met the factors in the prong test, and all defendants implemented or possessed responsibility and know the difference. So before we go to her medical claims, let me look something up. I want to look up what is the prong test. What? Now her next is going to be claim 2, which is she was treated wrong medically. The 3-prong test, Title IX compliance. 3-prong test for Title IX includes proportionality, expansion, and accommodating interest. What? It's about discrimination. It's the a prong is an essential element of a claim or defense. Essential element or a part of law. Okay, that's a little confusing. Let me check on you guys. She should have thought more about her religion when she hurt Gannon. Agree. And not only that, she's not Jewish, okay? She's sitting there. I mean, half the time she's talking about Jesus and blah, blah. And even on the phone with her aunt, remember the conversation about being Jewish? She's like, yeah, I'm thinking about switching to Judaism. She's like, Tisha, but you're American. How can you do that? And she's like, but Americans can be Jewish. And then her aunt's like, but Tisha, Jesus is the way. Jesus is the only way. And Tisha's like, I know that. Well, then then you're not Jewish. Hey, Christina. She thinks this is an all-inclusive vacation. She's not religious in any way. She's absolutely manipulating. Hold on one second. Wonder how I don't have my phone. I can't even remove anything in the comments. Jewish but wants a prayer mat. Oh, thank you, Leanne. Send her ass to a Russian prison, right? She definitely thinks she's at a Hilton hotel. All right, let's look at number 2. Medical neglect, 8th Amendment. I was arrested in March of 2020, and upon intake, I signed an ROI and explained my extensive history with stomach issues. First of all, let me just pause here and say, this is just the facts. In jail, if you have a medical issue, you're probably going to be screwed. Maybe in prison it's a little better, but that's just the way it is. Do not break the law. Do not hurt children. You won't end up there, and this won't happen. I'm sorry, but you cannot go in there and expect to get like the best medical treatment there is. You're in jail, okay? And these people are dealing with lots of MRSA and infections, and I mean, it just it does look like a children's handwriting for sure. Hey Thistle, hey Crackdown, hey Meep. Okay. I suffer from severe IBS-C with symptoms present 12 or more days a month. Leaky gut, abdominal pain present 15 or more days a month. Internal, external bleeding, blood and stool 7 more days a month. Swelling beyond the normal range. The presence of knots in my stomach that one can feel, and constant pelvic pain due to my stomach issues listed above. I explained that I experience frequent times of not producing a bowel movement 10 to 15 days at a time and sometimes more. I have been prescribed Miralax, Senna, and a stool softener at various times. Below is a list of communications through the inmate kite system. Kites only GO show through 2021 November. Medical kites. November 27, 2021, stomach issues, constipation, and current medication is not working. The provider responded that no changes would be made. December 7, 2021, denying medication that was productive. The provider responded that I was at a 56% compliance rate. I explained to the MedCart nurse, Jane Doe, that the percentage was invalid because MedPass was consistently out of Miralax and or Senna due to staffing. Sometimes medical never showed, and they counted the days I was out of custody in their responses, thus making the response invalid. January 18th, my kite said, can I get a different stomach med since the provider refuses to evaluate me? The response was a deflection, as the provider responded with. The response was a deflection because they responded with, please make sure you are placing requests in a professional manner. I was flabbergasted because the kite listed above was appropriate. 15 days without going. March 12th, 2022, request for medication to clean system out because I was at 11 days straight. March 26th, stomach help request in severe pain, and they responded that I was scheduled to see a doctor. I never saw a doctor, and bleeding started. February 11th, 2022. You're backwards, girl. 16 days without a stool, medication not working, stomach pain and bleeding. April 10th, 2022, explained that I had been requesting help since January and still did not see a doctor. June spoke to Jane Doe nurse who had her badge backwards and refused to give her name. She stated that I needed to drink water and stop eating the trays. I told her I eat once a day and drink at least 12 to 14 8-ounce cups a day. I explained that the issue was chronic and I was at risk for bowel obstruction and or other long-term health risk. No help provided. Bleeding continued, swelling, pain, tiny, more able knots in stomach appeared without seeing a doctor. Jane Doe described tall, about 5'9", long dark brown hair, medium built with white fair skin. She had her badge around backwards and wouldn't tell you. I wonder why. August 19th, 2022, told medical staff that I needed relief due to constipation, stomach swelling, constipation, bleeding, and pain that was worse than any previous kites, and that current fiber lac and stool softeners are not working. Fiber lax and stool softeners. Note, I have sent grievances, spoke with several medical staff members to include but not limited to Heather, Danielle, Maggie, and several other Jane Does who had their badges inside of clothing or who turned it around backwards from March of 2020 to August of 2022. I informed SSGTs named Bryant, Ayad, Doucette, and someone named Simpson, according to the ward deputy, about the medical neglect. I was told to keep kiting and to understand that staff was low. The jail continues to ignore the negligence of contractor WellPath, therefore being an active participant in the responsibility for the continued operation and constitutional violation. Just checking on you guys for a second. She's the biggest nuisance, Tiffany. That is so true. Oh, thank you, just me. I know. Search and rescue. Oh, my God. I'm interested in the parts that look like they were added on, especially the H and happy. Are you talking about that letter? Hey, Leslie, welcome. Thank you for joining. And hey, Amber. Chrissy F. Yeah, that sounds like outside freedom doctor care. Well, Deborah, we're still kind of waiting to find out, I believe. So curious Jen knows more about the lawsuits. Like I said, there's a lawsuit part 2 I also downloaded. It's just a letter. I'll show you guys. So I don't know exactly what's going on at this moment with it. Let's see. Claim number 2, continued neglect. On another occasion, I requested a medical evaluation for a concussion. The second one while at CJC. In July of 2022, I rolled off the top bunk and hit my head, sliced open, and bruised my ribs. I alerted the ward deputy, Snipe, who called and emailed medical staff. I was told to put in a kite. These are the symptoms that was told to medical staff and that continued. Nausea, several hours. Dizziness, 2 days. Bleeding, 2 hours persistent and off and on for 1 day. Later, scabbing occurred. Pain, ignored, but lasted 4 days. Back and head. Headaches, still active, on and off, and sensitivity. She's still having headaches. Vomiting, off and on for 1 day. Blurry vision for 2 days. Note, I still continue to have headaches, difficulty thinking clearly, and remembering information. I did send a kite on July 19th, 21st, 26th, and the 30th of 2022. I was told to be patient and that I was placed on a sick call multiple times. On August 16th of 2022, Maggie, a WellPath nurse, appeared almost 30 days after the incident. I explained to her that the incident occurred while sleeping and I have nightmares and a sleepwalking condition. I explained the continued issues and that this was the second one in a year. I also asked for a bottom bunk restriction to prevent further head damage and how I was sure that I damaged my ribs as well. I also expressed my concern for neglecting a head trauma for almost 30 days. She told me to kite mental health instead because, quote, they handle those type of things, unquote. Once again, I received incompetent responses from an individual who is a licensed nurse hired by WellPath. This was beyond a reasonable response time and are beyond negligent, as explained in the section involving my stomach issues. Both issues are serious and risk potential further health issues or risk or harm. Individuals and organizations in the same situation outside of these defendants would know that without the proper medication, x-rays, etc., these symptoms will increase, pain level will increase, and would lead to more stomach gastrointestinal tract issues or head/cognitive related issues, concussions. In addition, the stomach issues could lead to bowel obstruction and internal bleeding, per my previous GI doctor. She is as bad as Sarah Boone. Exactly. Pretty entitled for what she did. Hey, Alma. Handstands can cause concussions. Let me look see if I missed anything from. Oh, Inspector Gadget, thank you for being a member for 3 months. Bowel obstruction would be justice for Leticia. Crime Mom, thank you for joining. I think I've said that, but in case I didn't. Hey, Mia. Hey, Shaker Maker. Fulton County Jail paid out over $10 million in prisoner claims. Well, the prison where she's at right now has claims has a big lawsuit coming up against it too from inmates. I want to know what her communications and complaints have been post-conviction. Can you compare? Oh, yeah, Pinche Becky. We can do that. I don't have my phone with me, but let's get through this and then we'll look. But I will say that letter, by the way, of Gannon's was to Leticia, the Mother's Day card, was not posted by Leticia. It was posted by Amy, if I'm not mistaken. If Curious Jen is still in here, she knows for sure. But, and I'm almost certain it was after her arrest or after, yeah, it was when she was already in jail. Window liquor. So I'm pretty certain that it was actually a letter from Gannon, but I don't know. In summary, the named defendants in claim number 2 show deliberate indifference, more than negligence, causing medical suffering and harm or potential knowledge the harm will result. Both parties violate the 8th Amendment by 1, deprivation of a basic human need that is serious, and 2, acted with a sufficiently culpable state of mind. WellPath controls the direction and disregards health and safety. El Paso County Jail fails to supervise and engages in promulgate, I don't know what that word is, implementation of the casual policy, also disregarding inmates' health and safety. Other individuals in both capacities comparisons would know that their actions violates the amendment. In addition, both capacities/entities are imposing the punishment of lack of medical care as a punishment, and El Paso County is not immune under the 11th Amendment. I have included that a policy or custom exists, and there is a direct link between the policy/custom and the constitutional injury. Finally, both defendants refuse to protect the inmates from inhumane treatment and conditions that are deliberate and prejudiced when compared to other inmate populations or even at all. Inmates on chemical dependency are monitored and receive doctor visits, but the handbook precludes to treatment for all basic medical needs, and this rises to the level of cruel and unusual. Now, these are her other defendants, okay? So we have claim number 1, involved defendants. Defendant number 1, El Paso County for El Paso County Jail. She does dance weird. Who are under color of law. They, 1, failed to supervise and train staff properly to bring the kitchen and workers in compliance with kosher. 2, uniform fashion entities policy or custom. 3, promulgated, created, implemented, or possessed responsibility for the continued constitutional injury to disregard the 1st and 14th Amendment. And 4, abuse of discretion and used opinion evidence. Defendant 2 is the Lieutenant Stengel, who engaged in individual participation knowingly and with prejudice to one's legal rights due to plaintiff's current prejudicial publicity. Oh, okay. So he's treating you this way because of the publicity of your case. Not because of your badass attitude and the not listening? Okay. The plaintiff's right to practice religion in accordance with customs and continue to report frivolous claims without merit / abuse of, or no, I'm sorry, in parentheses, abuse of power or tactics. In fact, there was no tangible evidence to warrant the kosher suspension. Yes, there was. He caught you eating a spread and making dessert with other inmates with non-kosher items. I mean, you are, she just, Defendant number 3, Snipe. This individual participated in the violation by a total disregard the First Amendment and due process by suggesting that this is a deserved punishment with comments mentioned. In addition to her disregard to fix the diet when she is the only means to do this, while I was locked down 21/22 something and it cuts off. Then we have continued claim number 1, Defendant 5, Trinity Food, who disregarded inmates' health, failure to supervise kitchen staff and outside employees, and how to properly prepare a kosher diet, aware that their actions violate the right. Claim number 2, involved defendants, well path, deprivation of basic medical care. No, Leticia, you refused medical care so many times. Let's get real. 2, acted with a culpable state of mind by hiring licensed professionals in the area of expertise. 3, disregard and objectively serious conditions, medical need, or risk of harm if left untreated properly. She says El Paso County was aware that the contractor WellPath was violating amendment rights. Note, in reference to all defendants, all other individuals or entities would adhere to these rights and or know their action violates the right. Okay, so that's the end of that one. Now we have another letter about this, but let me just check on you guys for a minute. I can't stop laughing, you witch. Yeah, her kosher diet, Amber. So one day, the reason it was taken, the deputy literally, they were having their time out, and he sees Leticia with a group of inmates sitting there rolling up like chips and noodles and, making a spread, mixing all this stuff together. He observes, he just sits back to watch and then observes Leticia eating this spread, not kosher food. And then he goes up to her and asks the group, what are you making? And they tell him, and Leticia's like, yeah, we're about to make dessert too, out of cookies and this and that. And it's like, so then he's like, okay, well, then why are you on a kosher diet? You're not eating kosher. Hello, Melissa Jade. Yes, it sounds like she finally went to the law library. It sure does. I think she's copied other lawsuits or something. Okay. Now we have this. U.S. District Court, District of Colorado. She wrote a little neater on this one. Thank you for sending the letter to Denver Women's Correctional Facility. I did not inform the court of an address change because I was in processing for 25 days due to mental health instead of the regular 7 days process. So this is after, wait, let me see the date. This is, after her trial. See, it's June 15th, 2023. I did not request leave to add a defendant. I was asked that in our conference call, and I stated that I was not adding a defendant. I only submitted a request to add a claim. However, I was not able to do that because I was on trial for 7 weeks and did not have any access to the law library or any resources. I wrote the court and explained this and said I wanted to resume without amending the claim. I later received a document stating that the request to add the claim I was denied. Therefore, I assumed the court received my letter. It was under the assumption that I did comply with court orders because I asked the court to proceed without amending the claim based on my original claim. I also considered the response to El Paso County to be the same to Trinity, as I explained I was denied law library at CJC/El Paso and could not get any legal forms. However, I did not respond to WellPath because I never received their response originally. The Criminal Justice Center consistently interfered with my mail and communication. I asked the court to move forward with the original claim as I did not amend it. I also do not have access to a law library at Denver Women's because I am a mental health offender classification, and I am housed at residential treatment instead. Without any access at CJC, or currently my response to Trinity is the same as El Paso. Finally, I asked the court to update my address to the address listed. Respectfully, Leticia Stout. Now, remember those prison calls where we heard her talking about their little, like where she was at in the Denver Women's, and how it was more like a rehab facility, and she was working on getting privileges where she could be out during the day and stuff like that. Oh, welcome, Lil Red. Thank you. Yeah, this is after guilty. Yep. But this is the interesting thing, and we're going to pull something up. So we'll see what happens with this. But the jail that she's at now, hold on just a second. Let's see. There are some things happening there. News 11 days ago. Oh, okay. So there's an update to the lawsuit there. Remember, we talked about a lawsuit when she got moved and we found out for sure she was in this facility. I told you guys there was a lawsuit against some of the guards for being like severely cruel to the inmates and not letting them get medical treatment and stuff like that. And apparently it was pretty gruesome and pretty bad. However, we got to keep in mind that the inmate could be someone like Leticia. But now there is an update on that. So let's look at it. Because look here. Former Topeka inmate suit says she worked in rat-infested kitchen. So Prisonland is a rat-infested kitchen. Okay, let's see what it says. Former Topeka inmate suit says she worked in rat-infested kitchen. What judge says? The Kansas Department of Corrections Topeka Correctional Facility denied a former inmate access to showers after she worked for hours in a rat-infested kitchen that had backed up plumbing, she alleges. Caitlin Fowler was twice forced to wash up in her sink in her cell, which was humiliating, she said in the petition for a federal lawsuit she filed while serving as her own attorney on October 2nd. U.S. District Judge John Lundstrom responded October 6 by giving Fowler until November 6 to file an amended complaint fixing deficiencies he said he found with her original complaint. If an amended complaint isn't filed, the current complaint will be dismissed. Here's what she alleges in a lawsuit against Topeka Correctional Facility, aka Prisonland, okay? Named as plaintiffs in Fowler's suit were Topeka Correctional Facility, 815 Southeast Rice Road, and an employee were identified only as First Sergeant Clark. Fowler, 23, was released October 13th on parole to live in Douglas County after serving time at Topeka Correctional for drug crimes. Her lawsuit alleged the following. The Topeka Correctional Facility kitchen where she worked daily was infested with rats and bugs, and the kitchen sink was backed up. The trays had feces on them, but hadn't been sent to be decontaminated. That does sound like Prisonland, doesn't it? Sounds like so much fun. Aw, Little Red Riding Hood, thank you. I appreciate that so much. Thank you. Candace, so we just finished her lawsuit, and I was showing you guys some of the claims another inmate is making at the place where she's at now. This is the only thing, though. With this inmate claim, there like I remember in the first article I read, there appeared to be some things that made it not seem like a Leticia suit. I will say that, but let me keep reading. So, Fowler had written to the health inspector about those issues, but work orders to repair the problems had been delayed, allegedly because of remodeling. Clark twice denied Fowler access to a shower after her shift, instead forcing her to wash up using her cell sink in front of her cellmate, which Fowler said was a violation of her Eighth Amendment right to be free from cruel and unusual punishment. That right was also violated because Fowler, who has PTSD because of prior homelessness and SA, is being re traumatized by being forced to work in inhumane conditions, being denied access to a shower, and forced to wash up in front of her cellmate. The unsanitary conditions and denial of showers demonstrates unconstitutional deliberate indifference to inhumane conditions of confinement. Fowler, okay, here's what the judge said former inmate has to do. Fowler wasn't eligible for monetary damages because she did not meet the requirement for the circumstances involved that she provide a prior showing of a physical injury or the commission of an SA. Because there were claims of that in her lawsuit, if I'm not mistaken. He wrote, although plaintiff alleges that she suffers from PTSD as a result from these things and that it is exacerbated by the events underlying in her complaint, she does not allege that the events underlying in the complaint involve a physical injury or the commission of a sexual act. Okay, so I think this is actually a separate lawsuit from what I know. So here's one. We're going to go find the other one too. Here's one lawsuit about Topeka Correctional that there's rats in the kitchen, feces on the trays, and they basically said there's a work order in to fix it. So I'm curious if that's true. Doesn't sound like, prison land to me, but whatever. Now let me show you the other one, because the other claims are more violent. Is this it? I think this might be it. I know that there's a YouTube video. If this isn't it, I'll grab it that I have. Okay, this is the one. The Kansas Department of Corrections is investigating allegations that a female inmate at Topeka Correctional Facility was abused by COs there. A spokesperson for that agency confirmed Wednesday. No further information is being released at this point, said Davis Thompson. A message posted September 14th said the incident occurred on the evening of September 7th. The inmate fell and was forced by officers to roll down a sidewalk, the post said, adding she remained hospitalized 7 days and with broken bones. And I think there's actually even one more. Let me look. Two Kansas prison employees fired, 6 punished, and then KDOC terminates 2 employees for mistreatment. Let's look at these articles. This is not Prisonland. She's a lying hussy, which we already knew that, but I'm just saying. Look at all these claims against the jail. 2 Kansas prison employees fired, 6 punished after they allegedly mocked and ignored injured female inmate. 2 employees at Kansas prison were fired and 6 others were disciplined after accusations they mocked and failed to help an injured inmate. Inmates told the news that prison staff called the injured woman fat and lazy and didn't provide assistance because they thought she was faking. Hours later, the inmate was hospitalized with an injured foot and didn't return to prison for several weeks. The Kansas Department of Corrections found 8 staff members, quote, performed in a manner that is unacceptable, unquote, while violating the agency's policies and visits. Multiple employees have been disciplined for abuse allegations. We are confident that these actions represent a temporary lapse in judgment for the handful of staff that were involved and do not reflect a systemic issue at TCF. Prison staff will get training so employees feel empowered to challenge and report any order. All right, now let me get this video. So, wonder what kind of lawsuits will come from Leticia to this place, because I'm almost like convinced that there will be some. Topeka Correctional Facility. I'm going to grab the YouTube video.
Headlines now at 5. An investigation is underway into some allegations of mistreatment involving an inmate at the Topeka Correctional Facility. Posts circulating on social media and sent to 13 News claim that an inmate convicted of rape was made to crawl when she asked for some medical attention, and the inmate was allegedly treated so severely that she was hospitalized for several broken bones. Well, 3 officers were named in the allegations, but no arrests have been made.
I believe it must be true if there's been 2 people fired and several people punished. It's my anniversary. So thankful to have found this amazing community. Aw, love you too. And I'm so thankful you did too. Hey, Trulia. Good to see you, my West Virginia sister. So, Leticia will create as much BS as she can. And if she knows that these lawsuits have happened there and these officers have been in trouble, I just could see her taking advantage of this so much. You guys know how she is. That sounds like a viable lawsuit. It really does. It really does. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Cray Cray. I wouldn't even look at Leticia and just walk by her cell if I was a guard. Well, many of them do that. I noticed in the reports from the jail, they'd say, she tried to talk to me about this or that. I did not respond. Or I told her not to talk to me, that kind of thing. Question, where was she sent to? She was sent to Topeka Correctional. So let me show you, because there's a video right here that shows it pretty good. I'm going to smoke a cigarette and talk to you guys for a minute, and then I'm going to let you go. I know that Melissa has a live for a couple lives tonight, but the one right after this is the anniversary of Idaho, and then some Leticia stuff after. I know that Bendy's been working on a video all day. I don't know when that will be up. That's really all I know that's going on, though. Imagine how they're treating Teabag. She's having the days, months, and weeks she deserves. Yep, agree. Even though she wants us to believe it's Prisneyland. And yeah, they do get a lot in commissary, more than I would expect. But is she still on restrictions? I don't think so. So here's the thing. Here, I'll let this play in the background while we talk, because this is also where she's at. And it shows the inside. If this is the video, I think. Yeah, it shows what it looks like inside. So we know that when she was moved to the prison in Denver, canteen, inmate dining, she started to get privileges, such as at first she was completely isolated. But we heard her on the phone telling that, eventually she wouldn't be. And by the time she left, I don't believe she was at all. At first she only had an hour out. By the end of it, she was allowed out whenever. It's like a little city. A prison is like a little city. So they have the salon, the commissary, the kitchen, just all the things. She'll never be free again. There's a GED teacher. She might do something like that. I could see her doing something like that just because she does have some teaching experience, even though we all know about her work history and how reliable she is. Leticia was probably the one who pooed on the trays. Well, she is a rat. She does remind me of a rat. I'm being mistreated. You will hear from my attorney. You're in my notes. Then, complaining that people walk around with their tag backward. Of course they do. Hey, Curious Jen, what's the status of this lawsuit now? Is it just up in the air? Because I see the last thing it was June 2023. I guess I am mean. If you're in prison, you shouldn't have a TV or radio. Bread and water only. You're there for punishment I know. I agree. I'm with you. Especially if you're in there for something like she's done. Pending. Okay. That's what I thought. Hey, just another one. Okay, sorry, you guys. Hey, Kimberly. Well, we went through Leticia's lawsuit. We went through some of the lawsuits happening at the facility she's at now. And now we're just hanging out for a minute before I let you guys go. I cannot wait till we get these next calls. And we're trying to get the report of what exactly happened after trial from Denver Women's. So definitely keep you posted on that. Oh, legendary. Oh, I hope that goes well tomorrow. Radios and that's true, Donna, and that's a good point. And actually, Leticia mentioned that in those messages. You know, they're not going to take away our privileges because those are the things that that give us incentive to be good, to act right, to not cause chaos. Solitary in a turtle suit. There had to be a Kansas inmate wanting to move to Colorado to send her there. Hey, Buttercup. I think different privileges depending on your charge. Well, see, I don't know once you get in prison. Oh, I agree, Donna. I totally agree. Let's go back. Let's end it with this and look at these photos of the time that she was this. Okay, so if you didn't follow along, I'll just quickly let you know. Right before, at the end of the file, at the end of the incident reports, right before she went to trial, she started these claims that she was going to try to hurt herself. And I think that she was just getting nervous about trial coming up. But like the COs would find her, you know, trying to rub her wrist across the bolts on the floor or the locks on the door or things like that. Or just sitting in her room crying. She knew. I mean, we saw all the stories progress over time, right? We saw all the different versions she gave Al. Then we had the biological son story and the poker and all that shit. And then by the end, it was the DID defense, right? And I think that she knew deep down inside that there was all the evidence against her. She had her file. There was no fighting it. You know what I mean? So she's sitting in there and eventually starts to break down. The pleasure that I get out of knowing that she felt desperate like this, it's probably not healthy. But like seeing her in this picture crying, and the officers would write in the file, like she is visibly upset. She is sitting in her room on the bed crying. All her lies were coming out and she knew it. My daughter's fiance's mom passed away last night. Oh, I am so sorry, Music City Mom. That is so sad. Thank you, Leslie. I know, Kimberly. I don't like it either. I don't like it either. Ooh, Christina, if Alex can send an email address, I'm going to drive out to Disneyland and I'll send videos and pics I definitely want to see. I think we'd all love to see. My email's actually on the screen on the banner, but I bet you one of the mods have put it in the chat now. Let's see. Yep, they just put it's scrolling across the screen. So it's Rip Your Heart Out in DYE because I used to do tie-dye. I know it's a little like, huh, when you first hear it, but just so you know. That picture in these lives bring me so much joy. I don't care if it's wrong. I hate that demon. She's not filed an appeal yet. I've been checking for new filings. Hey, Deets. Yeah, we're about done. But we did go through some interesting stuff. So her whole lawsuit is just bullshit. But the most interesting thing to me is the new place where she's at, which I don't know if you knew, but she was like texting and calling her new prison Prisneyland and bragging that she has all these amenities and freedoms and all the things. Well, apparently this new facility has been in some hot water and even firing guards because of the way they're treating the inmates. So I'm sure we'll see another lawsuit against Topeka Correctional Facility coming out soon. Real Pocahontas, if you look on, it's either on, I think it's on this channel, on my shorts, I do show like the process of some of them. Yeah, Prisneyland. That's what she said. That's what she called it, which pissed us all off. And then I was telling them that, you know, in her final weeks before trial, in the jail file, we see that she's starting to realize her fate. They will say that she's sitting on the bed crying, or, just you can just see as things evolve that she's realizing, okay, I'm not going to get out of this. Here's another picture of her. I still like the blood on her hands. She was disgusting. She was playing with her own blood all the time, putting it on her face, on the wall, on it. I mean, just damn disgusting. You are disgusting, lady. Don't do the crime if you can't do the time. Kimberly, I'm actually not sure on that. I think, yeah, I'm not sure. I wouldn't want to say what I think because I don't know if I'm correct. She is nasty. She's disgusting. All right, you guys. So I think that we're going to wrap it up there. Hey, Bronco, just as we're leaving. Thank you guys for being here and hanging out with me and going through all of this. As far as Leticia stuff goes, I will be back to doing like tidbits as far as like the rest of the jail file. I'm going to do something with the kites, but we're going to work on some other cases until we get the new calls. And then we'll be listening to those, and I'll be seeing all of you guys then. I'm going to go eat. I'm hungry. I'm going to go grub. And I'll see you guys later, maybe in Melissa's or around on the streets. Thank you so much for being here, Crackdown. Thank all you guys. Actually, let me say thank you again to Little Red Riding Hood. Thank you. Thank you, Pinche Becky. Pinche Becky, what I'm going to do is message Melissa since she has that letter closed, because I have Gannon's card, but it's way far back in my files, and it would take me a while to find it. So she has it. I'm going to send her a screenshot of this letter, and she can compare it since she was just going over it. If she's interested and you guys are interested. And then thank you, Inspector Gadget, Leslie, Brandywine, Kimmy, and Good Vibes. I really do appreciate you guys in my tests. I hope you guys have a good night, and I will see you tomorrow. Thank you for being here. Go make a spread. I don't know about all that, but hey, when Lori Vallow, like, because of her makeup in court and knowing that she was doing like the Kool-Aid lipstick and stuff, at one point Jen and I were talking about doing like a live where we did prison makeup. That would be funny. Prison makeup, prison spread. I know I'm traumatized by her dancing too. Elena, we went through her lawsuit and stuff, and some stuff about the current facility where she's at, and some lawsuits that are unfolding there right now. All right. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. I'll see you soon. And yeah, have a great night. Bye. Oh, wait. Before I end it, let me drop some links real fast. Indy, Curious, Jen, Amber, Melissa. Hey, let me see what mod's in here. Nay, will you do me a favor and grab Deet's link if you can hear me? She has an awesome channel, you guys. Yeah, you're in here still. Love you. And she does some true crime and also some like community stuff, which is really interesting. Then I will end it. Thank you, Nay. You the best. Love you back, Elena. Okay, Amber, Melissa. All right. Now I'm really going. I really do appreciate you guys, and I'll see you soon, okay? Bye.